Just 10 weeks after the playoff defeat against Wolves, a new season stuttered into life. The Royals and Southampton entertained an 11,000-plus crowd with 5 goals. Fabrice Fernandes with 1 of 3 for the Saints. The Royals had added Scott Murray from Bristol City and Shaun Goater from Manchester City to their squad. The Royals' 2 scorers were Nicky Shorey from the spot and Darius Henderson with that finish. 5 days before the new season kicked off, the supporters made the most of an open training session at the MADEJSKI Stadium. The new signings were subject to most of the interest. Reading had shed 9 players during the summer. Further changes, big changes, would soon follow. For the fans, it was a chance to grab some autographs, an opportunity they made the most of.
This is very good, I think, for the fans really to come in and see the lads train before the opening game. So this is very good. I mean, it's a good day for it. A bit tired because we've had a good session, but it's good because we're around the fans and they get to get the autographs and so forth. So that's good.
The GOAT and Scott Murray made their league debuts as Reading's season began at Portman Road. Andy Hughes drew a save from Kelvin Davis. At the other end, Marcus Hahnemann watched an effort from George Santos fly just too high. The Royals' early promise brought the first league goal of the season after half-time. Nicky Forster centred, Steve Sidwell swivelled, 1-0 to Reading. The season before, the Royals had been regarded as a surprise package. This time, their opponents would be wary of them. But the Royals left East Anglia upset by 2 refereeing decisions. Pablo Cunago got inside Nicky Shorey. That challenge deemed a red card offence. Skipper Adi Williams made his feelings clear. Referee Brian Curzon then added to the Royals' frustration, awarding Jim Magilton a penalty in added time. Alan Pardew later congratulated Magilton for his dive. Tommy Miller made it 1-1 from the penalty spot. At the final whistle, Pardew raced towards the referee, but controlled his anger. The first midweek trip of the season took Reading to York Street to face Boston United in the Carling Cup. 15 minutes in, Nicky Forster held off the challenge of Mark Greaves to open his account for the new season. Neil Redfern equalised from the penalty spot. But with 83 minutes on the clock, Steve Sidwell, who conceded the penalty, restored the Royals' advantage. And late on, Andy Hughes beat the keeper. Forster was in the right place at the right time to see Reading home. Steve Sidwell had received a call-up to the England under-21 squad to play Croatia, and his performance against Nottingham Forest demonstrated exactly why. Forest keeper Darren Ward's clumsy challenge earned a penalty. Nicky Shorey stepped up, but Ward made the save. Soon after the break, one of the Royals' set plays saw Sidwell, with a deflection, put Reading in front. A second soon followed, as the keeper failed to deal with Scott Murray's cross shot. It was his first goal for the Royals. And the other big summer signing also scored his first for the club. Shaun Goater setting the seal on a good day at the office. Next stop, Pride Park, and it didn't take Goater long to hit his second in successive matches. Just 3 minutes on the clock. Derby was soon level, but 2 goals in 6 minutes from Scott Murray put Reading in control. Forster's smart back heel teed up the first. Murray then produced a wonderful strike. Reading unbeaten, Derby setting out on a difficult season. It was bank holiday weekend, and the day before Rotherham arrived, Glenn Roeder had parted company with West Ham. The Reading manager was immediately the centre of speculation. On the park, Nicky Forster was sent sprawling by defender Chris Wales. But referee David Crick wasn't persuaded. This match marked Martin Butler's final game as a substitute. It finished goalless. Omar Daly made his first appearance for the club. Reading's excellent start to the season continued at Selhurst Park. Andy Hughes' typically strong running and Sean Goater added the finish. 1-0 at half-time. Goalmaker Hughes then became goal-taker. This would be Alan Pardew's last game in charge, and the Royals extended their unbeaten start to the season to 6 games. Goater turned in goal number 3. His celebrations curtailed by an injury. The following week, Alan Pardew walked out after almost 4 years as manager. He'd signed a new contract with John MADEJSKI earlier that year, but now he was tempted by the vacant post at West Ham. His assistant, Kevin Dillon, was thrust into the spotlight. He'd worked alongside Pardew in various capacities. A popular coach, now he was in charge of the team, and his first match at West Ham.
Elm Park was Reading Football Club's home for more than 100 years, but by the time John MADEJSKI took over as chairman in 1990, it was beginning to show its age.
Right from the very word go, I knew that we had to move from Elm Park. It just wasn't viable in the state it was, and the Justice Taylor report made it even more certain that we had to move because, you know, we had to become an all-seater stadium. Yeah, it was just falling apart at the seams, and the amount of money that we would have had to invest to reorganise Elm Park was ridiculous.
After years of searching for a suitable location, the club finally negotiated the possibility of building a new ground on a former household waste site south of the town centre.
Elm Park was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and so we needed to find a new greenacre site for our new stadium, and I've always said the most important things about any business or property or whatever you like to say is 3 things, you know: location, location, location. And I don't think we could have done better than the location we are at now. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Well, I remember the season under Terry Bullivant, and this ground was getting built, but none of us had really seen it or been past it, and the chairman decided to bring us all up here to look around, and it wasn't until we came to visit the building site as it was and we saw the enormity of what the MADEJSKI Stadium was going to be like, and it really hit home to us.
There were certainly plenty of people present on the day that MADEJSKI Stadium opened its doors for the first time on the 22nd of August 1998, as 18,108 spectators made their way to the club's new ground. Visitors Luton Town went along with the script as the home team christened their new patch with a 3-0 win in a memorable day.
Serious commentators are now taking notice of Reading Football Club, and we're sort of beginning to be recognised as a force in football, which is tremendous because, you know, we've always been an afterthought to a large degree, and I think slowly but surely people are really taking notice of us as being a very important element in football.
Trevor Brooking was still in charge of the Hammers, and Jermaine Defoe was still wearing claret and blue. His class apparent, the post saved Reading. The only goal of the game came from a corner. Christian Daly's header found the roof of Marcus Hahnemann's net. It was a tough baptism for the Royals' caretaker boss. His players were desperate to salvage something from the occasion. A.D. Williams' header was just too high. Reading's first home match since Pardew's departure brought Cardiff along the M4, and the players certainly appeared ready for the challenge. Nicky Forster posing plenty of questions. Steve Sidwell was winning his midfield duels, supplying the ammunition for Forster to fire. But Cardiff, settling in after their promotion the previous season, caught Reading. Peter Thorne was onside and on target. At times, the Royals looked edgy. Afterwards, the caretaker manager said his players were trying too hard. Robert Earnshaw tormented defences all season. Hahnemann had to be at his best. After the break, Sidwell stamped his authority and ability on the contest. And the Royals' goals were worth waiting for. Hughes, Harper, Gota and Murray's centre eventually turned in by Forster. His first league goal of the season, his 50th for Reading. 11 minutes from time, Reading completed their comeback. Forster's pass, a super strike from Sidwell. Chairman John MADEJSKI was still considering all options on the managerial scene. Kevin Dillon organised his team for the visit of Coventry. It appeared business as usual as a decent move opened up the visitors. Forster finished with conviction. But Coventry got a break before the interval. The ball fell nicely for Dele Adebola to snap up the chance. One apiece. And the visitors took all 3 points. They'd squandered a couple of chances before Andrew Morrell found the corner of Hahnemann's goal. Few contests appear to inspire the Royals as much as a trip to Oxford. John Solako's knee with the opening goal in the Carling Cup tie. Forster was firing on all cylinders and he struck the second. Former Royal Matthew Robinson centred to give Jefferson Louis a debut goal for the U's. Omar Daly appeared as a Royal substitute that night. He turned Robinson before Forster set up James Harper. A 90th minute finish and the Royals were through to round 3. Reading then had 2 away trips in the league. Julio Arca smashed Sunderland's first past Marcus Hahnemann at the Stadium of Light. And John Oster headed the second to defeat Kevin Dillon on his return to Wearside. 3 days later, the Royals visited another promotion-chasing club, Norwich City. Darren Huckabee lashed the Canaries in front. The home supporters enjoyed it, but Reading was soon level. Nicky Shorey's pass down the left and Nicky Forster got the better of Malky Mackay. And then his finish was too hot for Robert Green. The Royals were just 3 minutes from taking a point when Paul McVeigh's shot took a cruel deflection off Adi Williams. It was a season when the Royals had no luck against Norwich City.
Into October, and after 3 league defeats in a row, the Royals steadied the ship against Bradford. In the temporary absence of Kevin Dillon, Director of Football, Nicky Hammond had picked the squad. Steve Sidwell confirming that the team's spirit was still as strong as ever. Paul Evans levelled the scores just before the break. Andrew Gray slotted in the visitors' second. But a well-worked free kick gave Andy Hughes a much-needed goal, his second of the campaign. After all the uncertainty, there was a new man at the helm, the former Brighton boss Steve Coppell taking over the reins with high ambitions.
The challenge of trying to get into the elite, the Premiership, you know, that's got to be the driving force of any competitive football person, and I do fall into that category. Sometimes I wish I didn't, but I do.
And so to his first match in charge, the fans wishing him luck, though his new team made a jittery start against Gillingham. Rod Wallace hitting the post after just 50 seconds. But the first goal of the Coppell era came in the second half. Nicky Shorey's cross met by Scott Murray. Coppell was now in the dugout, issuing his first instructions, though Marlon King was handed an easy equaliser. Marcus Hahnemann made up for his mistake later in the game. And the winner was well placed by Steve Sidwell. Another home victory was to follow, and although Ricardo Fuller put the visitors ahead, a shove on Nicky Forster eventually gave Sean Goater a chance from the spot. But that was saved by Jonathan Gould. The linesman, though, ruled that Gould had moved early, and this time Goater made no mistake. Another penalty was to follow in the second half, Graham Alexander converting for Preston. John Mackey restored parity with an unstoppable header. Then a rousing finale saw Nicky Forster steer the ball home for a dramatic winner in injury time. Defeat was to follow, though, against later-to-be relegated Walsall, witnessed by only 11,000 at the MADEJSKI. A fourth-minute goal from veteran Vinnie Samways gave the visitors all 3 points. Steve Coppell's rebuilding programme began with the signing of Icelandic international Ivar Ingmarsson, who'd been on loan from Wolves at Brighton.
What convinced you to come to Reading?
Well, it's a nice place, isn't it? And it's a club that has been built in a way that I think it will last, and it can go further and stay there.
And he was to make his debut in the victory at Sheffield United. With the rear guard bolstered by his arrival, A.D. Williams was able to push up front with a well-taken header. October's pace setters in Division 1 hit back through Ashley Ward. But a brilliant strike from the in-form Nicky Forster sealed the win. At the time, it was his 8th of the season. Three wins in 4 games for Steve Coppell. It was that man Forster who was on hand to dispatch Huddersfield in the 3rd round of the League Cup.
We haven't been doing so well in cup competitions, so it's nice to have an outside interest other than the league, and you know, it keeps us, it keeps us on our toes. It'd be nice to get a big tie now, and you know, have a go against a bigger team.
Prophetic words. Reading would be drawn against Chelsea.
The stage was set for a gripping afternoon. of excitement and tension at a packed Griffin Park on April the 20th, 2002. But half-time was reached with the 0-0 scoreline still intact, and both sides satisfied with the opening period. Reading fans were still confident.
What do you think so far?
It's all right. I think we'll get a last-minute goal, but Jeremy Curtin will come on and score.
If Reading could keep a clean sheet for another 45 minutes, they would be promoted. Then, with 12 minutes remaining, Reading won a free kick for a seemingly innocuous challenge by Steve Sidwell inside the Reading half. All eyes were on the referee, and eventually
Back to league matters with the Royals stumbling at CREWE. Northern Ireland international Steve Jones squeezing the ball past Marcus Hahnemann from the tightest of angles. Frustration for Reading, who were unable to find the equaliser. Reading then went into the clash against Wigan just 4 points off a playoff spot. Nicky Forster again the most potent threat. But the Royals were to suffer a serious blow. A.D. Williams limped off with an injury that would keep him out of action until Boxing Day. They would miss his services. On the day, though, Andy Hughes converted the winner. His trademark celebrations delighting the fans. And drama before the end, when Wigan keeper John Farland was sent off for handling outside the area. Always a match to savour, the season's first meeting with Millwall lived up to its billing. Nicky Shorey brought down by Paul Eiffel. Shorey needed treatment. Andy Hughes' penalty was blocked though by Lions keeper Tony Warner. But he needn't have worried. John Salako's first-time shot enough to see off Millwall and climb into the top 6, knocking West Ham into 7th. And so to the Hawthorns for a game against a team who would eventually achieve automatic promotion. Graham Murty's effort, one of the few highlights in a 0-0 draw. A setback was to follow at Burnley, with the heaviest defeat of the season so far. Robbie Blake inflicting the first goal. And when Marcus Hahnemann failed to clear under pressure, Burnley's homegrown star Richard Chaplow punished the error. Reading's misery was complete when on loan from Manchester United midfielder Luke Chadwick deflected in a free kick in a crowded penalty area. Chadwick had been on loan at Reading the previous season. The last game in November saw victory against Watford, though it took an own goal to set the Royals on their way. Former Middlesbrough and Bolton defender Neil Cox providing the finish. But just a minute later, Watford were back in it. Lee Cook with a savage volley. A draw seemed certain until the ball and Lady Luck stayed in for Reading. Forster's persistence leading to Steve Sidwell's goal. Next up would be Chelsea in the League Cup.
After a surprise home defeat to Wimbledon, West Brom put together an unbeaten run through November to head the table. The Baggies were about to put Manchester United out of the League Cup. Reading were 6th. They'd won 10 of their 21 league games. After a series of draws, West Ham finished November with a victory over Wigan and were 7th. Next for Reading, Chelsea in the Carling Cup.
Referee Steve Bennett gets this match underway. It's a pulsating atmosphere inside the stadium. In recent years, Birmingham and Tranmere have both reached the final of this competition. Reading, one of 3 nationwide league clubs still in the League Cup, and they'll have to be at their very best tonight against a Chelsea team whose starting 11 cost £75 million, and if you include the bench, that figure rises to £117 million. Early offside as the Chelsea defence pushed forward. Neil Sullivan making his debut for Chelsea this evening. Hassan Desai. Chelsea names just trip off the tongue. It's a roll call of stars. Babayaro. Crespo with a little touch off towards Gronkiar. Hasselbank wants it. Here's Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Crespo's made the run. It's a good run as well. Hahnemann with the block. And wide. Good interplay up front here from Chelsea. Hasselbank with the ball through. Hahnemann making the save. Crespo denied. But an early warning for Reading of what they can expect throughout the game. Towards Savage. Desai wins the header. Gronkiar. Babayaro put under pressure. Ball over the top towards Forster. He's got 2 in the middle. Here's Nicky Forster! Good chance this for Reading. Forster getting in behind Babayaro. Looking to lob Sullivan. Terry. 3 in the middle, waiting for a cross from John Terry. Cole. Here's Jeremy. Crespo left it. That's a great chance for Chelsea and a good save from Hahnemann to deny Frank Lampard. Look at the dummy here from Crespo. And Lampard just denied by the Reading goalkeeper. Jeremy. Gronkiar. Gets the cross in well and just over. It was a wonderful chance for Chelsea to open the scoring. And it was Marcel Desailly who came flying in with the header. Excellent cross. Just over the bar from the Chelsea captain. Johnson underneath it, concedes a throw-in. Shaw's ball in, Savage! Oh, and just scooped away by Sullivan. What a chance for Reading. Neil Sullivan prevents the home side from opening the scoring. Savage with the header. It seemed to be looping over the goalkeeper, who at the very last moment palmed it wide. Did he keep it in? Yes, he did. Gronkial with the cross. Pulled back for Crespo! Great save from Hanneman. He's having a super night, Marcus Hanneman. Gronkial pulling it back. And Crespo looking to slide it into the corner. Hanneman was at full stretch to push it round. Jeremy. Lampard. Hasselbank. Well policed. Crespo. Oh, nice little first touch. Hernan Crespo! Oh, against the post from Hernan Crespo. The closest we've come to a goal so far. Hernan Crespo, so close to opening the scoring for Chelsea. Look at that lovely first touch. And Crespo most unfortunate that it didn't come off the post and over the goal line. Fabiano with the cross. Crespo! Great save from Hanneman. Hernan Crespo denied yet again. Great header from Crespo. Hanneman again at full stretch. And Reading again keep Chelsea at bay. Reminder that if it's still level at the end of 90 minutes, then we shall have half an hour extra time, and if it's still level after that, we will go to the drama of a penalty shootout. But somehow you can't see it remaining 0-0 by the end of 90 minutes. Here's Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, an early opportunity for Chelsea. Just held up. Jeremy goes for goal, and again Hanneman right behind it. Chelsea signalling there intent right from the kick-off in this second half. And it does seem as though this second period has started exactly as the first half ended. Jeremy. Lampard wants to play it forward to Crespo, who's got him behind the defence. This is Jeremy. Still Jeremy, and still Jeremy, but straight at Hanneman. Wouldn't fall kindly there for Jeremy. Almost side-footed the ball as if he was trying to pass it past the goalkeeper. Lampard in towards Crespo. Little touch back and wide. From John Terry, who was upfield for Chelsea, and the central defender with the first-time shot. Chelsea trying everything they can to find a way into the Reading net. Hasselbank with the header. Murty. Savage wants it outside him. Still Murty. Wants to go all the way as well. Sidwell. Oh, it just wouldn't fall for Reading kindly there. And Lampard. Ball over the top towards Hernan Crespo. This is a great chance for Chelsea. Crespo's looking for support. Finds it here from Hasselbank. And eventually the deadlock is broken. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has put Chelsea in front. Hanneman beaten for the first time. Crespo, well, he may have had a shot himself, but he waited and waited for support. And the support came from the Dutchman. Hasselbank's 8th goal of the season, and Chelsea are leading Reading by 1-0. Now what have Reading got to say about that? Remember, Chelsea have not conceded a goal in their last 6 matches. That's in the Premiership and in the Champions League as well. The last side to score against Chelsea were in fact Notts County in the last round of the League Cup. Gronkia looks to take on the defender in towards Crespo, couldn't quite get on the end of it. Chelsea very close to getting a second goal just moments after they'd opened the scoring. Gronkia's ball across, Crespo couldn't quite reach. Little touch back from Crespo. Lampard, great block. Well, Mercy thought that that should have been a goal kick. Shoring, Savage, Tyson's cross. Murray picks it up. Sidwell made a little run. Here is Steve Sidwell. Chance for the shot. Might fall for Savage. Didn't quite fall for Tyson either, as it came off Johnson. Corner kick. Reading really piling under pressure. Deep. Sullivan tried to get there and cleared off the line by Lampard. That was so close to being an equaliser for Reading. Sullivan was beaten, but Lampard on the line, able to clear it away. Chelsea looking to break. Mutu. Crespo's in the middle. Hanneman gets there. Look at the clearance off the line from Lampard. Terrific stuff. Lampard. Chance for the shot and tipped over by Hanneman. Great effort from Mutu. Well, there seemed nothing on, but suddenly the shot was there. And the goalkeeper again at full stretch to deny Chelsea. He has been outstanding tonight. Makalele. Cleared by Desai. Towards Crespo. Reading tidy up. Referee has had a good look at his watch. Is there time for one more? No, there isn't. Hanneman's clearance is the last touch of the match. It was a fantastic game, settled by that man there, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. His second half goal has seen Chelsea through to the quarter-finals of the 8th Carling Cup. But Reading emerged from this game with huge, huge credit. Hanneman was brilliant, no other word for it. He kept Reading in the game for such a long time. It's been a wonderful night's football at the MADEJSKI Stadium. Chelsea go through though. Reading 0, Chelsea 1.
After a memorable night in front of 24,000 plus at the MADEJSKI, the Royals hit the road to the JJB Stadium. 10 minutes into the second half, they caught Wigan with a devastating counter-attack. A wonderful effort from Nicky Forster. His first goal in 7 games. Just as Reading had surprised many the year before, so Wigan did during this season. But their promotion challenge stuttered as Reading inflicted a second defeat in 5 weeks on the Latics. Reading sealed their victory in the 89th minute. Forster found a shooting opportunity and the corner of John Filan's net. It had been a good day, but the Royals soon lost their way. December the 13th and the Royals were at the Britannia Stadium. they were blown away by Stoke's Dutchman Peter Hoekstra. In the first half, he scored twice in 8 minutes. The second, a blistering strike. He only scored 4 goals all season, 3 of them against Reading. After winning a penalty decision at the expense of Nicky Shorey, Hoekstra completed his masterclass from the penalty spot. If Reading hoped to get back on track with their final fixture pre-Christmas, it wasn't to be. 5 minutes before half-time, Andy Johnson's left-foot shot evaded Marcus Hahnemann. Within 3 minutes, Johnson was charging at the Royals' defence again. This time his centre was met by Wayne Routledge. Palace were oozing confidence, the Royals were struggling. And in added time, Sean Derry sent Johnson in again. The Royals were heading for a miserable Christmas. A.D. Williams returned in a bid to shore up the defence for the Boxing Day visit of Wimbledon. But after just 8 minutes, the Dons had the lead through Wade Small. The visitors threatened a second goal, and it didn't take long to materialise. Dean Lewington's header made it 2-0. Seasonal cheer was in short supply for Royal supporters. They needed a break, but this was Reading's worst run of the season. Lloyd Owusu hit the woodwork. The Dons didn't have much to cheer throughout the whole campaign. They were heading towards Division 2, but they did enjoy the final minutes on Boxing Day. Joel McAnuff reversed the 3-0 defeat Reading had enjoyed at Selhurst Park. 2 days later, Reading went to the Bescot Stadium. From Simon Osborne's corner, Georges Leitao headed the Saddlers in front. Steve Coppell had recalled Steve Brown to partner A.D. Williams at the heart of the Royals' defence, and it was a more positive performance. Reading were desperate for a goal, but Scott Murray was offside. Nicky Shorey converted 2 superb free kicks during the season. The first earned Reading a much-needed point. And the Royals' relief was clear for all to see. Reading were the dominant side, and from a Shorey centre, Forster thought he was celebrating a match winner. A flag, though, was up again. Paul Merson came off the bench to inspire a late rally from Walsall, but the spoils were shared. Reading had drawn 3-3 in the FA Cup at Preston before Ipswich became their first league opponents in the new year. Just on the hour, Scott Murray centred and Lloyd Owusu headed his first goal for the club. New £150,000 signing Dave Kitson made his first appearance in this game as a substitute. But Joe Royal's team took a point. Martin Royce's corner was eventually turned in by John McGreal, a third successive draw for the Royals.
we had a free kick and it was like, I just made a run to the left and Viv's picked us out and I was fortunate got a flick on it and CREWE's finished it brilliantly.
I just can't believe it, you know, I'm absolutely delighted.
And for you as the captain, it must be extra special.
I just said the game itself is like torture today, but the feeling now is absolutely magnificent. I tell you, absolutely superb. Genuinely delighted for the supporters. We've had a lot of disappointments over the years. There's been a lot of pressure on the lads, but I tell you something, the character is unquestioned and we proved it today and I'm absolutely delighted.
And it set you up nice for your testimonial now, doesn't it?
Well, CREWE wants a bit of it, so everyone wants a bit of it. So no. I'm delighted. Obviously looking forward to that. I always said I wanted to make a promotion party, and you know, fortunately it's going to be like that. So I'm delighted.
In the match, Parky scored the opening goal, but for once it was the atmosphere and not the result which mattered.
You can see by the amount of people that's turned up what a great player he's been here and how well he's done.
In many respects, he was a big brother to me when I was here. You know, I of course moved on. I remain in touch, remain very close friends. He's been a loyal servant to the Royals and he fully deserves today.
The Reading public have been magnificent to us over the years and I fully appreciate it.
After the disappointment of an FA Cup replay defeat at home to Preston, the Royals produced one of their goals of the season at Nottingham. Nicky Forster's pass received the finish it deserved. Scott Murray, the match winner. Reading followed up with a flying start at home to Derby. With just 90 seconds gone, Nicky Shaw's free kick was met by Shaun Goater's head. The 200th league goal of his professional career. The Royals were the more effective. John Solako's centre was met by Andy Hughes. A second goal came before half-time. Some smart footwork from Kevin Watson and Steve Sidwell's strike beat the keeper. The Reading goal was hardly troubled in the first half, but after the interval, Hahnemann was relieved to see the ball bounce back in his direction. Then Goater produced a classy strike to launch some singing in the rain. George Burley's team did find the Royals' net. Michael Johnson with the header. Then a real scare as Derby swept forward again. But the referee's whistle put paid to the Rams' celebrations. Derby had improved, but the Royals held firm to land 3 points and stay in touch with the playoff contenders. Next, a match Royal supporters would prefer to forget. The game at Millmoor appeared to be unfolding well enough. Lloyd Owusu tripped, and Shaun Goater put away the penalty for his 10th goal of the season. The Royal smiles, however, didn't last. 4 minutes later, Martin Butler went down as he was challenged by Adi Williams. Butler had made an impression for his new club. Michael Proctor beat Hahnemann to level the scores. And then from the long throw, Andy Monkhouse's left foot shot found the corner of the net. 2 minutes later, a mix-up between Sidwell and Shawry was punished by Butler. A goal against his former club. On 79 minutes, Proctor rose to head his second, Rotherham's fourth. And in the final minute, Richie Barker made it 5-1 off the luckless Royal skipper. Reading travelled to Kent without central defenders Williams or Steve Brown. The only goal arrived early. Shaun beat French keeper Bertrand Bossu. Gillingham's best chance to get on level terms came from the penalty spot. Ricky Newman adjudged to have fouled the Gills player boss Andy Hessenthaler. John Hills took the penalty, but Hahnemann saved to his left. The Royals' reshuffled defence was unbeaten. Reading had another away victory. Only 10,000 spectators witnessed some suspect defending as Reading and Burnley shared 4 goals. Defender Mo Kamara headed past his own keeper to gift Lloyd Owusu the simplest of finishes. Kamara made amends with a long ball which got the better of Ricky Newman. And Ian Moore beat Hahnemann. In the second half, Burnley went in front. Bradley Orr, on loan from Newcastle, found David May. And the former Manchester United defender scored from close range. When Owusu hit the bar late on, it appeared that Reading was slipping towards defeat. But in added time, the ball fell nicely for James Harper to score his only league goal of the season. With the exception of the mauling at Millmoor, the Royals were on a decent run. They did fall behind against Sheffield United, Andy Gray with another goal to his credit. The Royals needed a quick response, and Nicky Shorey produced an exquisite free kick. James Harper then had the Blades in trouble. He was tripped. A penalty which Shaun dispatched to put the Royals in front. Soon after half-time, Andy Parkinson tested Hahnemann. The keeper did just enough. And from a corner, Gray was close to his second. He clipped the post. Substitute Dave Kitson was close to his first goal for the Royals. Steve Coppell's team survived some late pressure. They were still among the contenders for the playoffs. Well, that victory lifted the Royals level on points with Neil Warnock's team, and with 13 matches still to play, the Royals were 8th, just a point adrift of Ipswich and Millwall in 4th and 5th. A surprise home defeat for West Brom against Rotherham saw Norwich enjoying a 3-point cushion. The top 2 began March playing each other. They drew 0-0.
Reading were under pressure for much of the game at Deepdale. Ricardo Fuller's shot coming back off the bar. Then when the ball fell kindly for David Healy, he went on to round Marcus Hahnemann for the home side's first. Then Lloyd Owusu was sent off for this challenge on Tyrone Mayers. Steve Coppell's game plan turned on its head. But 10-man Reading worked hard for an equaliser, and their reward came through John Salako. The Royals had deserved a point, but Healy stole all 3 for Preston with a last-gasp winner. A cruel end after a brave battle. Steve Coppell returned to his old stomping ground for an entertaining match. Commentary from Ross Dyer.
Well, Crystal Palace are a team who still have a place in the Reading historical archives. They were the opposition for the Royals' biggest ever league victory. 10-2 the scoreline, but that was nearly 60 years ago, and at Old Elm Park, not Selhurst Park. Fast forward to 2004 and the present signs look less promising. Ian Dowie's team are unbeaten here since Boxing Day. Well, Routledge spotted Julian Gray in a far left position. Hughes in the mix, and Williams has to shepherd it behind. Early promise from the home side. Michael Hughes steamed through James Harper's challenge, and Williams had to play the way he was facing. Hughes. Intelligent touch, bought a bit of space for Gray, who's marauding forward, and Andy Johnson
Well, he had a right to go for the challenge. Reading a right to be wary of him. He has a record of more than 1 goal every 2 games for Crystal Palace. He hasn't scored for a couple, so odds would suggest keeping a close eye on him. James Harper looking for a likely target. Lloyd Owusu would be first choice inside that 6-yard area. He's drifted it out. Ingemarson won it! And I think it took a flick off Owusu. Reading have their opener. First hint of a threat, really. And it's Owusu who poaches it. Well, that is the start that Steve Coppell would have envisaged. Well, notably more confidence in Reading's game now. They were pegged back early on, but here's Sidwell really rampaging forward. Gota couldn't present the angle, maybe for Salako. Well, beneath the hail, the veteran winger against his former team could have made it a fairy tale start. Sidwell at the heart of that move. Derry. Well, Gray stuck out his left foot and then proceeded to dink a goal with effort, just wide. It's all about the home side pressure. Routledge. Johnson, was he shoved by Williams? Williams has fallen! And it's been rammed home! Dougie Freedman, finally the man to beat Marcus Hahnemann. After standing reasonably firm and coping with that Palace surge, Freedman finally bent his shot beyond the goalkeeper. And I suppose deservedly they have an equaliser. Johnson. Sidwell tracking him. But Johnson has stayed on his feet. And it's still Andy Johnson. Well, again, the top scorer was alive to the opportunity. Hughes. Sidwell was under pressure, wasn't sure of his footing. It falls for Michael Hughes. Sidwell this time a little further away, only as far as Derry. Clipped in first time, Johnson! And now he does score. Well, for half an hour it'd been a pretty good day out in London, but 15 minutes on, it now looks decidedly dodgy. He took it like the natural goal scorer he clearly is. Butterfield. There is space on that left-hand side. And it's run through to Johnson, good layoff, Routledge. Oh, tried the drive! Well, it looked as if he was setting himself for the left foot. Instead, drilled it on the right, and that wasn't far from troubling Hahnemann. Murray. It's cut in well. Owusu, one touch, and it's 2-2. He's really trying to make up for his sending off in midweek, isn't he? That is as good a goal as he will claim in a Reading shirt. Instant control, slotted through a crowd of 3 defenders. He levels up the match. Well, almost 600 games on the sidelines in 4 separate spells for Palace. As an away manager, things are looking better than they were a moment ago. Fist from Hahnemann. Routledge. Back to Granville. Oh, that was dangerous. It could have been deadly. Well, Nicky Shorey's head diverted it. It had his own defenders watching and waiting for a moment or two as it flicked over the bar. Good chest trap again from Johnson. He has been very bright. And Derry and Freedman. Well, that was all set up, wasn't it? For the striker to claim a brace. It looked easier to score from that position. Salako's layoff. Sidwell's cross. All first time from Reading. Except the finish from Gota, which he didn't catch properly. Freedman and Ingemarson. The Reading defender wins out, and then Owusu. Clever flick on it. Shaun Gota for Reading. Saved by the foot of the goalkeeper. He must wonder if a goal is coming. He got a couple here earlier in the season against Wimbledon in a 3-0 win. Not such a lucky ground this afternoon for Sean Gota. Away by Hughes. Derry. Sidwell got to him before he could take his shot. Routledge, faced by Solarco. Away by Ingemarson, but not by Sidwell. Crystal Palace still coming. Sure, he didn't claim it. Now he'll clear properly. Well, they're having to withstand pressure. They let the last-minute goal in, of course, in midweek at Preston. Routledge trying to tease a response out of Reading. Freedman and Gray, well, strong challenge came in. His side is thwarted again. Ingemarson had to watch it. Freedman and got him behind him. Still space in that area! Well, Reading have to be careful. Andy Johnson with a snapshot after real awareness from his strike partner, Freedman. One touch to steady himself. Second touch hit the wrong side of the net. Reading not able to exact full revenge for that defeat back in December to Palace, but they've kept the gap to 2 points. Playoff aspirations really demand resolute performances when you visit your rivals. Reading have come up with one today, and even if it's unspectacular in the short term look at the table, it will regenerate the confidence for the crucial away days to come in the run-in. On Steve Coppell's return to Crystal Palace, he's taking away a point. 2-2.
It was to be just one of those days. Reading's strike force couldn't find the net against Stoke. And when Marcus Harneman went off injured, 18-year-old Jamie Young came on to make his debut. He showed great composure, making a tremendous save from Stoke's Darryl Russell. And the match remained goalless. A 5-goal thriller was to follow against Cardiff at Ninian Park. Commentary from Ross Dyer.
It's been a lovely mild day in the Welsh capital, but when drawing up a map of favourable hunting grounds from which to prize away 3 precious promotion points, chances are Steve Coppell and Reading would not have considered Ninian Park on their A-list. Well, between the weekend and tonight, besides possibly reaching for the paracetamol to clear a selection headache or two, I'm sure Steve Coppell would have used any spare time in the Reading schedule to ponder how he could stop Cardiff fostering their momentum following what was a splendid win over leaders Norwich City on Saturday. Oh, I think the game just being pulled up as the referee receives some attention to his left hamstring, it looks like. And it looks as though the 4th official might be called into action. And all is well. Well, we have a linesman officiating now. Still remains the same for Solarco. He's found Ingemarson, and Reading have scored from the restart. Well, how much can you attribute that to the stoppage that we've just had to put up with? There were a couple of minutes where the players had to stand and admire in the penalty area while the referees sorted themselves out. Immediately following that, Solarco provides the perfect delivery, and Eva Ingemarson rises to thump home an emphatic header to give Reading, or what is the perfect end to this first half, perhaps. Lee came short. Earnshaw was off to the left. He struggled to keep that in. He's done it. Cross comes in from Barker. Oh, and Lee seemed to fall under the challenge of Newman. Widespread appeals for a penalty, short-lived. Oh, and Newman's given that away, and Langley off the line by the goal scorer, and it's gone in anyway. And it is that man, Robert Earnshaw, who finally beats Jamie Ashdown from close range. What a mix-up in Reading's back line. Newman, awful mistake. Langley nipped in. Ingemarson temporarily rescued the day, but once it was squared back to Earnshaw, there was only one place that it was going to end up. Hughes. The pace and the tension has gone up a notch, thanks to a couple of goals and a couple of disputed decisions, that being one of them. No complaints, I don't think. Sidwell, that's a tester, and it's in! Dave Kitson restores Reading's lead. And again, Cardiff caught napping from the dead ball. Without a goal before tonight for his new club, that's a pretty good way of marking your first. In added time at the end of this half, Dave Kitson gets up, mounts his challenge, and prods the ball past and out of position Martin Margetson. His manager says he's been banging at the door. It's time to let Dave Kitson in. Earnshaw just slipped at the crucial moment. The advantage was lost, but Wally swings it in. Langley again. Oh, and it's rammed home by Lee Bullock. Just when I was about to say Cardiff had been too cute in their build-up, the equaliser comes from the new man, Lee Bullock. Well, this is an absolutely unbelievable sight. Amidst the crowd of Cardiff players receiving refreshment on the touchline and words of encouragement from their manager, the assistant referee, who stepped up to the plate to officiate the remainder of the first half, has now pulled up with cramp, it appears, not too far into the second. And Lenny Lawrence, quite rightly, asking his players to switch on. It was after a similar break in the first half that Reading managed to get themselves in front. Well, I'm afraid I have no idea what this guy's name is, but hopefully he's got fit legs and they'll last out the remainder of this second half. Croft. Langley couldn't take it. Kitson now playing in a withdrawn role. It's Dean Morgan who was ahead of him, trying to search out. Oh, and Morgan scores! Well, what a turn-up! Cardiff, once again, exposed in the air. And it is Dean Morgan popping up at a crucial moment for Reading. Brooker, having been found by Kitson with an inch-perfect cross to the man who had strayed away from defender and goalkeeper to position himself in exactly the right place. And young Dean Morgan, the substitute, marks his evening with a brilliantly taken goal. And Reading are back in front for a third time. And Reading will be anxious to take as much time as possible when in possession now. Oh, they've let Earnshaw through, and this is the golden chance for Cardiff! He's missed it. Well, the referee's pulled back the chance anyway. He certainly didn't look offside. It looked the perfectly timed run by Earnshaw to escape away from Brown. You can see there that the Reading central defender realised that the final whistle had gone. Well, what a time to bring an end to proceedings. The referee really caps a farcical night from the officials, but Reading, crucially, have claimed an exciting and an important win in South Wales.
Disappointment was to follow against the team that would eventually finish third in the league but miss out on promotion. Jamie Ashdown keeping out an attempt on goal from Sunderland's Kevin Kyle. The rains came down and the spirits also dampened when 2 goals in 2 minutes undid Reading's defence. The first from Darren Byfield. Just 60 seconds later, some catastrophic defending allowed Tommy Smith to score Sunderland's second. And that's how it stayed. It was back to winning ways at Highfield Road, John Solarco scoring directly from a wide free kick with the help of a slight deflection from a Coventry defender, just 10 minutes on the clock. Early in the second half, Reading survived the scare when Gary McSheffrey's looping header hit the woodwork twice. But that was soon forgotten when Steve Sidwell picked out Sean Gota, who dispatched a precise first-time shot. All plain sailing then, until referee Alan Butler showed Steve Sidwell his second yellow card for a foul on Michael Doyle. It seemed a harsh decision. Reduced to 10 men, the Royals came under immediate pressure, McSheffrey bundling the ball home, but it was Reading who held on for the points.
In their 6 matches through the month of March, the Royals won 2, drew 2 and lost 2. Only 6 points covered 3rd to 9th places in Division 1. Reading had 7 matches to play. Easter would be decisive. But next, Reading reserved a warm welcome for a returning manager. Well, the visit of West Ham had been eagerly awaited. Steve Coppell kept faith with Dean Morgan and Dave Kitson up front. Commentary from Ross Dyer.
Well, the banners are out. For neutrals, they might seem a little excessive or somewhat unnecessary. They're meant simply to unnerve Reading's ex-leader and make him feel as unwelcome as possible back in a stadium where for 4 years they adored him. Well, he felt that he had a better chance with West Ham of getting into the Premiership. They lie 5 places, just 3 points better off than Reading. It's too tight to call in and amongst the playoffs. So possession, as that man knows, is 9/10 of the law. It came off Zamora, Rio Coca. First touch let him down, and Graham Murty, as ever, sniffing around to prize the ball away. Etherington, Gillingham found out what he could do with the ball at his feet last week, and he's been sent over by Stephen Sidwell. Free kick has been called. Etherington got away from Brooker, not Sidwell. Well, John Harley's made his mark from range before, and Reading will worry about his left foot being behind this. 2 men in the West Ham wall. It's not Harley, it was Harewood, who cleverly brought a response from Jamie Ashdown. Reading's goalkeeper, who looks a natural just 4 games into his recent tenure in place of Marcus Harneman. It was a good shift to immobilise the wall, but Jamie Ashdown's flying palms were in the way. Murty. His turn brought him a second or 2 away from Zamora. Morgan held that up well, under challenge from Melville, and then Sidwell went over the top and earns the free kick. Sidwell was sent off last Saturday. Solarco's hit, and I think it took the flick off Repka. I'm not sure the Czech really knew about the destination of the ball after he made contact. Murty picks it up, and Murty will strike, spilled by the goalkeeper, Kitson! A double save from Stephen Bywater. And Dave Kitson is denied on the follow-up. Graham Murty, you could see exactly what he was going to do with that. Goalkeeper, not convincing, but second time of asking. He stood up, reacting quickly. Was Kitson offside as well from the original strike? Possibly yes. Zamora. It's been a couple of years since he scored against Reading, and he might have picked out Connolly, who was a few inches away from opening the scoring. Called for the ball, pinpoint delivery, got there first ahead of Jamie Ashdown, but there was enough attention from the goalkeeper to put him off. Now check the substitution board, because I think, unless I or indeed Marlon Harewood is mistaken, that he's being substituted inside the opening half hour. His reaction suggests he's clearly not injured, but Alan Pardew, who is fond of, shall we say, arcane tactics, is about to withdraw the First Division's leading scorer in place of a man who hasn't yet netted for West Ham. Peter Grant unable to offer an explanation to West Ham's star man. Adam Nowland is on, and Alan Pardew clearly sees something he doesn't like, as does Marlon Harewood. Still getting a talking to from Peter Grant, and he will have to find a space on that bench to warm his legs for the rest of the afternoon. Morgan. Daly at his back. Good distribution to Murty. He's tried to find him again, and it might run all the way through. Kitson! Advantage Reading! Dave Kitson scores for the first time at the Madejski against the club's former manager. Inquiry for Alan Pardew there. Christian Daly made absolutely no attempt to challenge for the ball forward. He was keeping an eye on Dean Morgan. Andy Melville was supposed to be doing the same to Dave Kitson. The reality is, though, not close enough. Slow off the mark, deceived by the curve and the bounce of the ball, and Dave Kitson must take credit for reaching it. Once he'd done that, it was just a toe poke. Physical challenge from Repka and Hughes, and Sidwell now involved, and even Lloyd Owusu. Thomas Repka brings with him a reputation which is well deserved. Hardly ever does a match pass off without incident involving that man. And the name will be taken. He got himself in all sorts of bother at Upton Park last week against Gillingham. Harper, missed by everyone. Kitson! Oh my word! 2-0, and Dave Kitson has done it either side of half-time. Straight from the foul and the indiscretion from Thomas Repka. But if the first goal showed good striking reactions, then that one proves they are purely instinctive. Uncertainty in West Ham's box soon put to rest with one crippling swing of Dave Kitson's boot. And he's discovering just how you win your home fans over. Hutchison, good head. Dean. Back to Dean. Rio Coca trying to join in. Cross is decent. Flick from Ingemarson. And at the back stick was Bobby Zamora, who was some way off. West Ham need a resurgence soon, though. Steve Coppell just asked his fans to remember Alan Pardew isn't on the field today, and to get behind the 11 who are for Reading. He's got serious problems in this match. Daly's head. Sidwell did well to lean in and win it over Carrick, and Kitson has sprayed it beautifully into the path of Solarco, who had the chance to take it on a more direct route. They still look bothered, don't they? Kevin Dillon and Steve Coppell must sense that the whistle is close. More proud flags being shown now. They have a positive way of channeling it as well towards Dave Kitson and to their Reading team. West Ham slipped to a defeat that perhaps was written in the manager's stars. Alan Pardew had the perfect chance to emphasise his move to the East End was the right one, but in a sense it was a game where his motivation was outnumbered by those sporting the blue and white of Reading. Dave Kitson makes a MADEJSKI name for his scoring talents with 2 excellently taken goals. They were enough, 2-0 the score, and Alan Pardew's fleeting return is a futile one.
You know, it was a good performance. I've been asking for a sort of level of performance. It's one of the things I always harp on about for teams. I think if you can get a level of performance, then the points will just come. And I think today one led to the other. I thought for the first half an hour in the first half, we were good. We were good at what we do, and that was important.
Well, obviously it's been a big day for Reading, and they was well hyped up for it, and the players were well hyped up for it. They always want to make a statement against the old manager, and they played above themselves today. They were terrific, and we've lost 3 games where we've not really entered the battle and taught on the grips what this first division's about. I mean, we've been in it long enough now to know what it means, but in this running it gets even more intense, and it's my job to make sure that next time we enter a game like that we're better.
Use the psychology, though, of what Alan Pardew said about Reading, though. I believe there's some interesting notes on your changing room wall.
There are. It hurt a little bit, if we're honest. He said we've got an easy running starting with Reading, and West Ham are now better than the team we took to the playoffs last year. Fair enough, that's what he thinks. We might have just proved him wrong there.
Absolutely. What about this goal scorer next to you?
He was superb. I think when he came, he was struggling a little bit for fitness, but he's worked really, really hard and he deserved them goals. He was superb today.
Dave Kitson, how much did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Picked a good day for it, sell-out crowd. West Ham coming to the MADEJSKI, and it was just fantastic for us. For myself personally, good to get a couple of goals and win the game.
He's a great physical animal, 6'3", he's got pace, left foot, right foot. He's got an awful lot going for him, and I just hope that it's not unfulfilled potential and it actually shows itself consistently over the coming years for this club.
We had players who should play a level above the play today. It's not been a good day for us, but in some ways it's been the perfect day for Reading.
A dreadful Easter was to follow. The defeat at Bradford began with this goal from David Weatherall. Reading, though, clawed their way back with a wonder strike from Dave Kitson. An exquisite volley from the 6'3" striker, worthy of any league in the world. But when Bradford beat the offside trap in the second half, the game was up. Lewis Emmanuel clinching the points. Though there was still time for controversy, Paul Branch collecting his second yellow card for this dive. Then, after words with the linesman, Ivar Ingmarsson was also sent off. A straight red for an off-the-ball incident, disbelief from the Reading players. Ingmarsson was incensed. A dismal end to a dismal afternoon. They would later be promoted as champions, but Norwich needed the help of the referee to beat a determined Reading side. The ball cannoning off Neil Barry, allowing Phil Mulrine to tee up his shot. Then, in an unprecedented move, the referee came clean after the match.
I'd like to apologise to the Reading players, the supporters and the management unreservedly for being in that particular position inadvertently, but unfortunately it's cost Reading the game, and just hold my hands up and apologise to everybody concerned.
The Royals' playoff hopes suffered a blow when they were held at home against a dogged Crewe side. Reading went ahead when a pinpoint cross from John Solarco was met by a glancing header from Dave Kitson. A salute for the fans, but the joy wasn't to last. 6 minutes before half-time, Crewe's Ken Lunt converted a free kick from 25 yards out. Reading had to settle for the draw. Victory at the New Den ensured that the Royals' playoff hopes were still alive. John Solako, the provider, Sean Goater with a trademark finish. But it was Jamie Ashdown who kept Reading in the game, tipping the ball onto the post after a fierce drive from Paul Ifill. Millwall nearly claimed a share of the points in the second period, this time the woodwork coming to the rescue. Peter Sweeney with the shot.
With just 2 matches remaining, the Royals' prospects of reaching the playoffs rested on their rivals faltering. Norwich and West Brom were already promoted. Crystal Palace were the form team, while Reading's frustrating Easter looked set to cost them. And so to the last home game of the season. Having already conquered promotion, West Brom fans were hoping for another successful raid, this time at the MADEJSKI. But the Royals had their own battle plan. Steve Sidwell sent the marauding Baggies packing.
Probably the most important goal I've scored all season, but you know, fantastic team performance, and I thought we deserved the win today.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride since I've been here. We've had a few highs and a few lows, but you just want to leave a good memory for the summer. And thank Evan, Stephen Sidwell took probably the most difficult option and decided to shoot from the edge of the box, and it was a great strike. He's been looking for another goal for quite a while, but that was fabulous.
Earlier in the game, West Brom could have scored. Lloyd Dyer hit the side netting. And Andy Hughes saw his shot parried by Russell Holt. Appeals for a back pass waved away. So, Sidwell's winner was a fitting finale to the final game at the MADEJSKI. Reading arrived at Vicarage Road knowing they had to win and rely on results elsewhere to clinch a place in the playoffs. Adi Williams with one of the few attempts on goal in a scrappy match. But Watford shattered the dream. Midfield player Ashley Young with a bizarre goal just before half-time. The Royals would travel back to Berkshire empty-handed, but heads held high. And so this dramatic season finished with Reading 9th in Division 1, the 3rd highest finish in the club's history. 20 victories and 10 draws from their 46 league starts. Norwich rose to the Premiership as champions, West Brom runners-up, and Crystal Palace emerged from the playoffs, beating Alan Pardew's West Ham in the final. Graham Murty was voted Player of the Season for the 2nd time in 3 years. A fitting tribute at the end of a season during which Murty became the first Reading player to be capped at full international level by Scotland. Sean Goater was the club's leading goal scorer. He netted 14 times. While the goal of the season honour belonged to Nicky Forster for his strike at Sheffield United.